What's up? Well, what's going on, everybody? So, what's up, everybody? So, I wanted to go live earlier, um, while I was installing the crankshaft on this block here, but I was actually on the phone with a friend of mine, so we was having a conversation, and during that conversation, I was just putting my engine together. So, I decided to say, all right, well, we got off the phone now, so why not go live for a little while? I still got to install the pistons and the rods and all that stuff, rings and all that shit. So so yeah, this is basically what we got already. Um, so I got the crankshaft in there. I would spin it for y'all, but I'm getting ready to plastic gauge the uh, the rods and stuff to make sure they're correct bearing clearance. So I didn't want to mess that up. So bad enough trying to get them things to stay in place. So I was like, well, I just you know, just show them the crankshaft sitting in there. So the crank is in the block. Spins beautiful, beautiful. I believe our clearance on the mains is anywhere from 2 to 3 thousandths on the 2 thousandths on, yeah, 2 to 3 thousandths. So thank you, Craig. Appreciate you, man. How you doing, buddy? So so yeah, she's oiled up and ready to go. So now I'm gonna start putting the pistons and stuff in here, which I gotta get the correct spec um, for these ARPs, because I got ARPs on my rod bolts. So these are ARP rod bolts. So I got to make sure that we have the correct torque spec. So I'm just going to install these two real quick, and then waiting on a buddy of mine to actually text me the um, specifications on the torque specs for this. So hopefully he torques. Hopefully he texts me back soon so I can get cracking on this. But figured I'd go live for a little while, see what y'all are up to, see what everybody's doing on this Saturday. As y'all can see, it's kind of, I'm at the shop today, but it's kind of gray today. It ain't really hot, but it's supposed to rain. I'm supposed to be in North Carolina right now, but the race event got canceled because of the weather. So they're supposed to be getting some weather down there. Yeah. So yeah. Whoa. Supposed to be getting some weather. So we're gonna let me see, I gotta install these bearings first. And if anybody's wondering, I'm running these bearings right here. They're called ACL race bearings. I believe they got a 1,000th oil clearance. So yeah, man, we are running those. Yep. Yeah. Try to find my knife real quick. Craig, what you up to? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Craig, you got any projects today? Sorry about the phone moving around. I was moving around that table, and the phone is sitting on top of that toolbox on the rack there. Staying out of the heat. I heard that. I already know how hot it is there, man. It's been a nasty one. Last week here, boy, was freaking awful. I don't even know where the heck that heat even came from. Like, how do we even get heat like that? That's ridiculous. That is just plain ridiculous. Plain old ridiculous. Okay. I do not blame you, Craig. I would do exactly the same. Stay up out of the heat. Oh. I think I'm going to have to pull these off if I want to put this bearing in here. Yeah. All right, for those that do not know, I'm not doing anything. I walk out for 10 minutes. Now I read shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me. I know. I know what you mean. 100%, man. This, I do HVAC work, so those attics be crazy. Like, attics be like 160 degrees, dude. And the last thing you want to be doing is up in the attic when it's that hot outside. It's ridiculous. But real quick, man, for those that don't know, and not really familiar with, putting engines together and stuff. So of course everybody knows that here are the studs for your connecting rod, and your cap goes on top of those studs, and you got nuts that hold that stud to the crank journal. But when you're installing your piston, you got to be careful, because if one of these studs nicks this journal on the crankshaft, you can mess it up really bad, and you can cause it to wipe out a bearing, and that's going to rely on some machine work to get corrected. So to prevent that, I've had these for a very long time. I was given these by an old guy that I used to work with at Whitlow Chevrolet years ago. He's passed now, God rest his soul, but he gave me these, and these are what you call connecting rod stud covers. So what they do is they fit on top of your rod covers like this, right? Just like that. It's like, get this one on here real quick. All right, yeah. So they go in there like that. So when you install the piston, if one of these was to contact the actual rod, the rod journal on the crank, it won't hurt it, because it's rubber. It just hit it and it won't scar it, nicking or nothing. But if you hit it with that stud, it's going to scar it, potentially nick it, and whatever else may happen. So yeah, you definitely want to protect your crankshaft when you're installing your connecting rods. So I'm gonna stick this one in real quick. Oh, so I get my freaking piston lined up. There we go. There we go. All right. You say you're trying to have a mechanic, or you're trying to be a mechanic? You asking me? You trying to ask me a question there, or what? I'm a little bit confused on your question there. Down to here. Just a hair. So we can lock it down a little tighter. All right, to be a mechanic. Yeah, like Craig said, man, go to trade school. Start taking night courses or something, somewhere for auto mechanics. Do research, get you some books, start reading, you know, um, you know, whatever you're trying to work on and stuff. These help too. These Hayne manuals, they big time help. Like, they tell you a bunch of stuff about the vehicle you're working on. It tells you, like, if you're working on the engine, it tells you like all your torque specs. It tells you all your bearing tolerances, your clearances, all that stuff. So, trade school, definitely for sure, like Craig was saying, reading books, going to the junkyard, experimenting with stuff, stuff like that. Start getting more hands-on. Because I can tell you, like, the classroom will teach you a few things, but you're not really going to learn nothing until you actually start getting hands-on and working on stuff. That's what really teaches you, how to become a good mechanic, work on stuff like that, I mean, my favorite cars, of course, are Ford Escorts, GTs, LXs, compact stuff. Let's see, Ford Probe GTs, Focus SVTs, Taurus SHOs. I like Volkswagens. Volkswagens are good cars. I like some of the Audis. But my main recipe is a Ford Escort GT, of course. So, how about you? What kind of cars do you like to work on? I used to be an auto mechanic, man, but I don't do it anymore. I just work on my own stuff now. I just work on our own stuff. It's too much As a mechanic, my suggestion is to find something else to do, Craig. Damn, Craig. I mean, for a career, you're probably going to get tired of it, like Craig's saying, because we've been, well, I've been there, and I was a mechanic before I did anything else, and then I got into trade. I got into plumbing, welding, HVAC, med gas brazing. You know, I got into a lot of stuff, and I can tell you, like, auto mechanics, I did that for a long time, and once I got a hold to another trade, I never looked back. But I like doing it for myself because I'm into cars. We love cars. Cars is our passion. And if anything needs to be done, I can do it myself. And I don't have to worry about sending it to a shop, somebody paying somebody. Only thing we got to do is send stuff to the machine shop to have a machine. Because, of course, we don't have the machines to machine engine block or crankshaft or something like that. But yeah, I would definitely, bro, like, if that's what you want to do, that's something you got to experience on your own. You got to go in there and you got to experience it, see if you will like it, want to stay in it as a career, or do you want to do it as a hobby? You know what I'm saying? So that's the decision that you got to make. Zippery, what? Zippers. Zippers? Oh shoot! Hey, this other daggone rod. Put it together. Yeah, but that's a decision that you got to make. You got to find your path. You got to find your path. Put y'all over here at devices. I gotta go to device real quick. But yeah, man, that's up to you. You got to find your path. We can't. We can tell you all day until you're blue in the face. Oh man, don't do it. You ain't gonna like it. But some people do like it. But we've been there and done that. That's why Craig said what he said. Yes. It does not feel very. Oh, I just messed that up. Dang it. Didn't want that to happen. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I've never heard of those. Never heard of those. Mm-hmm. Why does that feel that way? Okay, Craig. Yeah, because I was like, I never heard of that. I'm probably knowing if I see it, of course, but it's been a while since I seen one. Damn, these rod caps are bare to get off. Oh. loose. Yep. Daggone it. I moved that one. I didn't want to move it. Daggone it. Oh. Gotcha, Craig. Gotcha. Oh. Hmm. I remember now, Craig. I remember now. Yeah. Redo this freaking plastic gauge again. Check standard. Not the BPD. Yeah, I was getting ready to go to the vise. That's why I moved it the other way. But then when the damn crankshaft moved with this plastic gauge in there, I said, damn, I have to pull that thing back apart and redo it again. That's why I had the camera turned the other way. Yeah. All right. This rod back on there. Right there with it. Oh. Still smell it. Oh. Oh. God dang on it, dude. This freaking crank keeps moving. I gotta do something about this. This is not gonna work out. Crank keeps on moving. Check this daggone plastic gauge and make sure it didn't move. I ain't got no rings in it. Ain't got no rings on the piston. Plus, I haven't tightened the rod cap down because I'm trying to keep it loose until I get it all the way right so I can. Damn, I mashed that bitch too. Yeah, ain't no rings on it yet, Craig. That's why it moves around, and I ain't got it tightened down either. Well, I got the crankshaft set loose anyway. The crank is set to a loose tolerance. That's why it moves so easy. See. Oh. Wipe that off. Freaking crap. God dang on it. I have to put something on this thing so it don't move. Yeah, I got the crank set up loose. Yeah, crank is set up loose. 2 to 3 thousandths bearing clearance. You set them up loose like that. I always set my engines up loose. Set them up loose, man. Set them up loose for abuse. That's how I set my last one up. No rev resistance. You said why? Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me put this bitch in the vise while I'm thinking about it. Craig, when you set a motor up loose, you have less rotating resistance. So that means when you rev it up, the motor doesn't struggle to rev in high rev and like high RPMs and stuff. The motor doesn't struggle to rev up. And plus, I've had my rotating assembly balanced. So when you set them up loose and you balance everything, it's a smooth rev. If you ever listen to my car in a burnout box on the old setup, which I set the engine up the same way, how fast it revs up in the burnout box, and how fast it revs up when I go through gears and stuff. It's because I'm still running the stock. How heavy is this flywheel? 23 pounds, I think. Or was it 33 pounds? I can't remember. I'm running the stock weighted flywheel, and it still revs pretty quick. What are you laughing at? So funny. Yeah, loose abuse. Shoot. Loose for abuse, baby. Gotta be that way. That's how you want it, man. How you want it. Try to do this shit again. You want loose for abuse, baby. You don't want it to be tight for a bad night. It gotta be loose for abuse. Got to be loose for abuse. It cannot be tight for a bad night. You don't want it to be tight for a bad night, man. All right, so I'm gonna take it off this time. I ain't gonna never get this day. They keep moving on me. I'll never get this mug right, man. I'm telling you. Never get it right. We gonna keep on trying though, baby. Got the wrong daggone tool. We gonna keep trying, y'all. All right. Yeah. How hot is it in Florida right now, Craig? I'm sure it's probably smoking. Ugh. My man said hot. Sorry about the tapping, people. I'm just trying to get these caps apart. It's a little challenging, especially on these ARP studs. Yeah. This motherfucker says swamp ass season. Well, it could be cold outside and you have swamp ass, Craig. It just depends on what type of high hygiene you got. You know. Uh-oh. Get on up there. Get on up in here. It was 101 storming. Oh man, it was 107 here the other day. Sorry, I'm shaking the daggone camera. Yeah, it was like 107 degrees here the other day. 107. 107. 107. A whopping 107. Yeah, Craig. Set my ends up loose, dude. Gotta figure out what the heck the. Yeah, our heat index has been jacked up too. Our heat index has been real jacked up. 34, 37 on these. Guess I can crank them down to factory to see what they mash down at least. Connecting rod is 35 or 37. See what happens. Ah. 10, 20, 35. So I'll run them down to that. Let's see what we got. Yeah, our heat index has been jacked up too, dude. Mm-hmm. 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 37. I'm gonna choke them down to that, just to give us a ballpark frank of what's going on. Oh, that was stupid because I got to redo it. 10, 20, 37. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Craig said he's not going to do nothing in that heat. Well, that's probably not what it's supposed to be, but I'm going to tighten it down to right now. Give us a ballpark of what's going on, so I can put the rest of those rod bearings and the actual rods. Yeah, so basically what I'm doing here is trying to get a ballpark of, I need to put these tools somewhere else so I ain't shaking y'all to death. Right up here next to this toolbox. See, everything is right here. Basically trying to get a ballpark of where bearing clearance is for the rods. If anybody's wondering what I'm doing. Yeah, I understand. I'm working all day too, dude. I feel your pain, my brother. Yep, I do feel your pain on that one, sure. Being in that heat all day long is no joke. It's no joke. Yep, it is no joke. Man, these caps are tight. Got to be an easier way to do this. Baby. Man, that's kind of fat. What's kind of fat boyed? Just kind of in the ballpark of what we got. Ooh. Yeah, that had to have moved. There's no way the thing is that much. Is that tight? Check this other one. See what it looking like. Let's see. This one look different on that one. Mm. I don't think that's the right one. I think it's because these rods moved. All right, bro. Appreciate you stopping in, my man. Mm. Just gonna finish. Jeez. Just gonna finish up this motor here. I might just leave these alone until I get the right freaking torque spec. So I don't have the right torque spec. Sorry for shaking y'all again. Okay, God almighty. Caps is on here, boy. I mean that. You still smell it. There we go. Man, these caps is tight. Probably because of the daggone. Oh, sucker slid right on off of there. Mm. That could have been bad. I think my leg broke the fall. Good thing my leg broke the fall. Oh yeah, I can't even tell what that is. So scribble scrabble. You know what? Tomorrow's another day. You know. Okay. All I have to do is just come in here and put those in. Crankshaft is in here. That's funny. Craig said, "Man, that crank's loose." Yeah, that crank loose. That's why she's supposed to be, but she's supposed to be loose. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, she's smooth, baby. Check it out. She is definitely smooth. Yes, sir. She is really smooth. I mean, they're gonna get this crapped out stuff off here. I don't know. Let's wait for Jake to give me the freaking measure there. Torque specs. But yeah, y'all, that's all I'm doing today, man. We're just putting a crank and rods, pistons in here, and that's probably gonna be all we do. I gotta get there correct because I got ARP studs on in this rod on these rods and stuff. So we gotta make sure that we get the correct torque spec. So when I tighten them down, I'm not using like a factory torque spec and then turn around and having to tighten them more because ARP requires more torque, more torque spec on it. So I think I'm gonna just hold off. And my boy has not hit me back yet, so I'm just gonna hold off, like I said. Um, but yeah, that's all I'm doing, man. Is just putting this together, and I'll let y'all see me spin this crank one more time. This crank is smooth. Look how smooth that thing is. Just no effort at all. And that's just how it's supposed to spin. But I also got this thing set up loose too. So you have it set up loose that way. I mean, I can barely touch it. It just rolls right over. Look at that. Just push the counterweight. Let's see if I can push the counterweight. Push the counterweight makes almost a full revolution. So she's definitely smooth, man. She is moving, and that's me. That's me spinning it with my hand. but there's no effort there. I'm just barely, barely turning it. So she right. That's for sure. She is right. So yeah, we gotta get my pistons put in. But like I said, they got ARP studs in them and nuts, and I just want to make sure that we get the right torque spec, so I can continue to check it uh, with the old plastic gauge here. That's how I check my clearances. You can check your clearance by doing measurements too. Like you could take a measurement of the journal, and then you take a measurement of your line bore, your journal bore, stuff like that, and then you calculate it. But I learned with the plastic gauge. That's how I learned when I came up in engine school, and that's what I've always stuck with. You know what I'm saying? Why not stick with something that you know? It's been working for me. I've built several engines since then. So several engines. So yeah, man. The plastic gauge does work, and as you can see, I mean, like I said, man, this crank spins pretty smooth. So, but yeah, man. So I just want to get on and share my shenanigans with everybody, man. Let everybody know what I was doing today, and trying to get this engine put together and bearings clearanced and rings and rods and all that put on, and we'll just go from there. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna hop off. Didn't really plan to stay on this long anyway. Just wanted to kind of shoot the shit with everybody and let everybody, like I said, let everybody know what I had going on today. Just mainly just putting the block together for Donatello. Can't wait to get back on the track. Oh, wait a minute. I had something else to show y'all. I forgot now. I don't know where it's at. Oh, I think it's in the trunk of the car. I'm gonna show y'all something in a minute. I'll probably show y'all on another video. But I got a bigger turbo yesterday from my buddy Razul. Big shout out to him. He hooked me up with a turbo yesterday. So looks like we'll be getting closer to our goal when we get back together. So yeah, I got a nice turbo. So nice turbo. So all right, everybody. Well, I'm gonna hop off here, man, and get back to it. And like I said, I can't do a whole lot today, but I need to get those specs for those rods so we can put them together, tighten them down, and get the correct spec for that. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna hop off and catch y'all on the next one, man. Hope everybody's doing good. Had a good week, and hope you have a great weekend. And if I feel a need to jump back on, get on live with y'all with something I'm doing, I will do that. All right, everybody. Well, I'm gone. Peace out. God bless everybody. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.